This is Nick with Temple of Geek. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. First off, The Astronaut is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Jess, I feel like that the film itself kind of pays an homage and kind of respect to like the classics that have come before it, but yet still has its own like unique story to tell when it comes to that. How did you create that balance?
Um, a child of the 90s, obviously, grew up on a lot of Spielberg, and just some filmmakers that I love, Kubrick and Villeneuve, and just really kind of trying to pay homage without obviously copying. But I think honestly, a lot of that stuff was just sort of almost subconsciously there. I think this love for the movies that I grew up on, like so many other people, just sort of lives in my DNA and is also something that I sort of miss seeing in the movies. I wish there was more of that. I feel like, obviously people like Tarantino pay homage constantly, but I haven't seen a ton of homage to sort of more of those 90s, 80s style films that also have some heart to the scares and the sci-fi. So yeah, it's probably just in my DNA and then inevitably came out.
So Kate, I mean, you've been in the sci-fi kind of world before, but how do you feel like the astronaut differs from the other projects you've been a part of?
Um, well, I think it's definitely different. It's definitely different than any other role I've played. I don't think I've been in this specific type of again, like I wouldn't call it a specific genre
Yeah.
necessarily. I think it is lots of different, has so many different elements to it. But I love that about it. When I read the script, I really was attracted to the fact that it wasn't what you think it is necessarily, and it's sort of a bunch of different things, different tones and different, it definitely keeps you guessing, and my character specifically goes through a lot, which for an actor is definitely exciting and what you want, to be able to experience all of these different emotions and different tones. And so yeah, I was just excited to play. I was excited to play the character that Jess created so beautifully.
Yeah, Jess, a lot of this film, in that kind of like classic idea, there's so much power behind what you don't see. And there's so much of like not being able to see and kind of that mystery. But how did you utilize kind of that element for this film?
Oh my gosh. I feel like, thinking about people like Ridley Scott, I feel like, so much can be so much scarier and more unnerving when you don't see it. Also helped us keep our PG-13 rating, which was great. And got our one F-bomb. But yeah, I feel like the imagination is so powerful, that sometimes just hearing a sound or inferring rather than showing really ends up being so much more terrifying, obviously. And in a great way, it sort of helped us keep some of that cleaner, more sort of commerciality to the film, even though it's an independent film, while still allowing us to have some really terrifying moments, without sort of having to lay it out all on the table for everybody.
And Kate, your character spends so much time like alone in a house, but through all those moments, you're able to show the kind of the evolution of the character and what they're going through. But how did you utilize all those different moments to be able to evolve that in your performance?
Um, well, I mean, she's obviously the character's in isolation, so being alone for so much of the film was only useful because it is what she's actually going through. So that is helpful as an actor. It also made all of the scenes, the few scenes that I have with other people, and anytime Lawrence showed up, I was so excited to get to play with somebody else and not just have to use my imagination. That was really fun. And it really does make you it made me very grateful to have these other wonderful actors to play off of because you can only do so much on your own, I think, and it's hard to surprise yourself, but other people, especially Lawrence Fishburne, he can change things up, and it makes acting so much easier when you have someone fantastic to play with. Makes it much more exciting than being with yourself all day.
Yeah, and having Lawrence Fishburne as the father figure in this, I can only imagine.
So epic. I loved working with him so much. He's just had such an incredible career and is he's so generous with his time and his um he's the greatest storyteller. Obviously he's an actor, so that's what he does, but also just when we're waiting around together, you could spend hours talking to him about the things that he's experienced, and it's just really fascinating to listen to.
And Jess, I mean, you have an amazing cast for this film. And I mean, of course, including Kate. How was it for you being able to work with such incredible actors?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. It was beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm so grateful that everyone took a leap of faith and was willing to go on the journey with me. Obviously, I learned so much from the amazing talent in the film, and everyone was so gracious and just so trusting and just really took the leap with me. And it was incredible. I think, especially having it be my first feature, to be able to work with this insane caliber of talent was a massive gift. And something I don't take lightly, but I'm so grateful for it. And everyone's so sweet and warm. Like, we're all still really close too, which is so nice. We all still text and hang out, and it's so nice because I feel like we really created our little kind of ragtag family. And yeah, there was just a real genuine warmth to everything. It really did feel like we created our own little unit.
Kate, your character, I feel like everybody in the film is always trying to tell Sam like what to do, what to think, how to be. Could you talk about the struggles of her finding her own kind of place in the universe?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the interesting thing about her experience in what she's going through in isolation when she comes back from her mission is that she doesn't want anyone to think she's crazy. She wants to be taken seriously, but also she's scared that if she's honest, she'll be, oh,
Sorry, so
um,
sorry. I knew that
she'll
was
be held back from going on another mission, which is her dream, and it's her passion. She doesn't want to mess that up. So, um, I think that the her trying to communicate with people, but also um and wanting to connect with people, but she's not able to given the circumstances, and actually physically she's, again, she's in isolation for a reason. Um I feel like that's very relatable. I feel like people can relate to the feeling of wanting to connect with each other, whatever situation you're in. I feel like that's sort of our deep sort of yearning as human beings, is always to feel seen and to feel connected to somebody or a community or whatever, or just to something. So I felt like that part of it was just a very human experience that she's experiencing.
And finally, speaking of connections, so like Sam's character and Mark's character, there's a lot communicated in very little. You learn a lot about their relationship through just a little bit of dialogue and a lot of that almost feels like an established dynamic already. But how did you go about establishing that dynamic and creating that without having to spend a lot of time?
Well,
I
story wise, Jess handled that. I felt very well.
Yeah.
Um, and then Jess, I'll let you sort of take over with how you sort of made that happen. But I will say that she, in the very short amount of time we had before we started filming, we discussed sort of what our relationship was why we were where we were in our relationship at this point in the story, and how it affects, Sam's journey and where she is, and his as well. But Jess, I feel like you can probably answer that.
Yeah, no, Gabe Luna is so great in this role. I love him so much. And it was so important, I think, that you really love his character and that you feel like if he's going to be sort of the sole caregiver to their daughter, Izzy, you want to feel really good about that, I think, as an audience member and not sort of feel like, who's this guy that she's just going to have her kids stay with him, So I think Gabe brought so much warmth to the role. And I feel like, that experience of people going through a separation and their characters really starting so far apart and then really coming together throughout the course of the film, even though their coming together might mean leaving each other potentially for good. I thought was just such a beautiful sort of exploration of how people can come from a difficult place but find grace for each other, even if that sometimes is at your own expense, allowing your partner to kind of become their full self. I feel like is a really kind of compassionate act, and Gabe just does it with such grace.
Thank you so much for talking to us, and congratulations on a wonderful film.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Nick.
you.